welcome back to my channel and welcome to another book haul. This one, we're kind of doing a little bit different. So it's a book haul, but I'm also going through my backlog. So I'm sharing with you all the books that I have yet to read that are just sitting there waiting for me to get to. And then I'm going to show you all of my new books. So if you're new here, all of this is going to be new to you because unless you looked at a couple videos before you started. But if you're returning, we're first going to go through all the books that I previously bought that are in my backlog. And then we're going to go through all the new ones that I have gotten since I did my last book haul. So that's what we're going to do today. And we got a lot. Like, I don't even know how many we have. Let's see. 2. Actually, I'll count them when I'm done because I have like the new ones too. So we'll do that last. So first we're going to go through all the different books that I have sitting there that's waiting for me. And y'all, I keep telling myself I need to stop, but it is really hard. Like before I would look at people and I'm like, why don't you just wait a second? But it's really hard because I enjoy going to the bookstore. I enjoy seeing what's new there. And even though I typically go to independent bookstores, so it's not like they have like tons of thrillers. Like if you go to Barnes, and I actually went to Barnes and Noble for the first time in years, they don't have as many books as they do in Barnes and Noble, of course, but I always feel like, they do a really good job of trying to get new inventory like weekly. The one thing is they don't get as many copies, so that's kind of a bummer, but I just can't help going in there and saying what's new. Like today, I went in there and I was like, okay, I don't really need to go. But, I haven't been since, and this is crazy, like May. It's still May. It's literally May 31st. It's not even June yet. So I went like a couple weeks ago, but I felt like it was just so long ago. So I had to go back in there and see what was there. And I did get 4 new books. So definitely always being able to find something. But I just want to take you guys through what I have. And then maybe you guys could share if you guys are, if any of these are on your list, if you've read any of these, if you're thinking about getting them, or what's on your list to read. So for those of you who don't know, I read thrillers, mysteries, and horrors. That is it. For the most part, there's a little bit of deviation, and we'll share those books. But other than that, that is really all I read. So definitely down to hear what you guys have. So let's go ahead. I'm not going to read the back of them because we'd be here all freaking day. I've probably already talked for like 10 minutes. So I'm just going to read the cover, the author, and if there's like a quick little blurb, I'll share that. So going in order, because I also read the book, and that's another thing. Y'all, I deviated. I read books out of order. And by the time you see this video, that vlog will be out. It is a reading vlog, so you already know what I'm talking about, the Indian Lake trilogy. I'm currently finishing book 3, but I actually bought them at different times, and I decided to do a reading vlog on that. So I pulled books out of order for the first time. I might do it again. I kind of like mixing it up, but I typically read them in order, so that's the order we're going to go in, the order that I bought them. So the first one is called When No One Is Watching, and this is a thriller. It's by Alyssa Cole, and this one basically says, I was knocked over by a little blurb by this intense psychological thriller that doesn't let go until the final page. This is a terrific read, and that's by Alyssa Burke from New York Times, who is a New York Times bestselling author. So this one is like set in New York, kind of regarding gentrification, but it's like what's really going on. Like, are these people just moving or are they disappearing type thing? So that is what it is. It actually says Rear Window meets Get Out in this gripping thriller from a critically acclaimed and New York Times notable author in which the gentrification of a Brooklyn neighborhood takes on a sinister new meaning. I've never seen Rear Window. I have seen Get Out, so I was really excited about that one. And this is by a Black author. The next one we have here is Don't Go Down There. It's by Kiersten Modglin. And this one, real quick, Spencer Edwards has a beautiful wife, 2 perfect children, and a sinister secret locked in his basement. I thought this is going to be cool because it's really short. It's like under 200 pages, and the words in this one are kind of big. So a quick, thrilling read. The next one is more popular, Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors. Y'all already know, like, my words just be getting jumbled. Think you know the person you married, think again. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and an anniversary they will never forget. So that is Rock, Paper, Scissors. My first book by her, because I typically don't read like a lot of the popular people. It has to be someone at the bookstore that literally says, no, this is a good read. Because I feel like some people get like hyped up and their books aren't that good. But you will see that I do have a couple that I heard a lot about. Now, some of you might be like, oh, well, I've heard a lot about that author. I hadn't, but like Feeney is definitely one I heard a lot about before getting this book. So I got it on my list. The next one, another popular one, Riley Sager, The House Across the Lake. Be careful what you watch for. So I heard this one is actually really good. I was kind of nervous to get it, and the person who told me to get it, she said, all of her books aren't that great, but this one is. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna trust you and I'm gonna read this one. I remember her telling me that because I was like, okay, I really trust that opinion, because if you're telling me, yeah, some things are a fail, and I actually don't know if this is guy or girl, but anyway, if you're telling me like, yeah, some books are a fail, but this one really is really, really good, then I was like, okay, I can trust your opinion. I'm gonna go grab it. So I have this one to read. The next one is Then She's Gone by Lisa Jewell. No one ever just disappears. Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter, and then she was gone. Now, this is really a trusting the person at the bookstore. And I don't think this was the bookstore owner. This is like a random person in the bookstore who goes there a lot. And he was like, she's really good at picking thrillers. And she picked up a Lisa Jewell book. And I said, babes, I done read one of her books. And that book did not do what it was supposed to do. That book worked me up. I thought I was going to get some goodness. And it just ended. And I was like, and I think it's called The Family Remains. Y'all probably can't see it, but it's over there. I was pissed because I just thought it was going to give me some good, and it disappointed the hell out of me. So she said this one was really good because I told her which one I have read, and she was like, I can see where you're coming from. She said this is good, so I'm giving Lisa another try. If Lisa disappoints me, I don't think I'm going to be getting no more of her books. I'm definitely not going to read no more of, because I think that The House Remains was like a part of like a 3-part series, and I read the second book, and they were like, you don't really have to read the first one and the third one. After I read the second one, I didn't care to go back to the first, and I was like, I'm dang sure not going to read the third one. But I'm going to read this one, and hopefully this is better than the other. She said it was. Alright, so the next one is End of Story by A.J. Flynn, and this says, the past isn't gone, it's just watching. And I thought this one was very interesting. This one is about a writer who basically like has like like he's dying. He has this big secret, and it's like a mystery wrapped up in her getting to meet up with him, like this author getting to meet up with him. And there's like another, not author, but another, is it an author? Sebastian Trout. Okay, longtime queer Nikki Hunter. I think she's like a writer or some type or whatever, but she just uncovers like a mystery and like I think the disappearance and or the killing of his first wife. So that is that one. And he's like about to die or whatever like that, and he's spilling all his tea. The next one is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, and I'm really excited about this because I'm a horror fan. Like Halloween, I love me some Friday the 13th. I love me some Freddy Krueger. Like, I really like those types of horror movies. I could watch them over and over again. And this one I was excited about because it has that final girl theme. This is also the book that got me into the Indian trilogy. So the Indian Lake trilogy. So I actually bought that book, the first one, and this at the same time. And I was just getting really excited. I was like, you know what? I really want to read this book. So I pulled it out of order. But this is another one that's about the final girl. And if you've read anything about the Indian Lake trilogy, it is giving you final girl realness. So I'm really excited about this one. In horror movies, the final girls are the ones left standing. When the credits roll, they made it through the worst night of their lives. But what happens after? So yes, very excited about that. Then we have The Resort. It's by Sara Ochs. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it just says, she thought it was the perfect getaway. So this one, if my memory serves me correctly, it's about someone who's left like their past life, trying to run away from things that happen. And they go to this like resort that has like a lot of expats or whatever. And like people, it's basically someone recognizes somebody ends up dead, and it's like, well, now people know who you are. You might want to watch your back because you might die too. So yes, that is what that one's about. The next one is Good Girls Don't Die. It's by Christina Henry. And it says getting lost in a story can be deadly. What is this one? So this one is about like 3 people who are basically living lives that aren't really theirs. So they like got pulled into a life that's not theirs. I don't know if they like fell asleep and woke up in somebody else's life or whatever, but that's what this one is about. Y'all already know. I stan the Thursday Murder Club mystery group. I absolutely love these books. This one is The Bullet That Missed. I'm actually when you see this video, I have already talked about book 2, which I just finished. This is book 3. It's by Richard Osman. If you just want to hear about the lives of some seasoned folks, if you want to see them thrive and be these great mystery solvers, unafraid, not taking no mess from nobody, this is the group for you. I absolutely love these people. The quartet of aging amateur sleuths remain wonderful company, and they so are. So I really like these because since I only do horror, thrillers, and mysteries, sometimes you need a lighthearted mystery, and that's what this is going to give you. The next one is The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett, and this one says the devil is in the details. So basically, this lady was in a cult. They tried to make her seem like her kid was the Antichrist. She escaped the cult, but then some other stuff is trying to, like, people are trying to find her and the kid. This one is actually, I'm really interested and kind of nervous because I like a good book that mixes up. Mixes it up. You got your emails, you got text messages. This literal entire book is told in like emails and text messages. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm just trying to figure out, like, how is this story actually going to come together? And it's crazy because there was another book I was going to get that was kind of written like this. And I was like, that might be too much. I had forgotten I had bought this. So this one is going to be really interesting. I do think it is going to be fast to read since it's all, like, emails, texts, and stuff like that. But very, very interesting. Now, we got another book by a popular person. And I avoided getting books by this person. And now I got 3 of them. Because, anyway, I got 3. And it's a Freida McFadden book. So, The Locked Door by Freida McFadden. Once again, someone at the bookstore was like, you gotta get it. It's really good. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try her out. I heard her books, like, they grab you and don't stop. The words are big, so I did like that. I'm not gonna lie. I did put every single Freida McFadden book in my cart that I could find on Amazon. I did, because I was like, if the book is as good as they say, I'll go buy Freida books. Now, I did hear a little stuff about Freida be taking other people's ideas, but I don't know how true that is. But when I read the back of this book, it literally does remind me of another book that I read. But I'm still going to read it, give it a try. I literally had a conversation about somebody at the bookstore, and they were talking about, yeah, like, I get what you're talking, where some books just seem to have the same, pretty much the same vibe. But then again, I feel like, you know, the way someone tells the story is different. It might be kind of the same premise, kind of the same idea, but it's like, how many different ways can you flip a horror or a mystery? You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know what's going down in Halloween, but we still watch it. So yeah, I got this one and I'm excited to read it. The next one, another famous one people talk about, The Silent Patient by Michaelides. They also told me, hey, this is a good one. You got to read it. I had seen it many times, heard about it. I was like, I'm not doing it. It's too popular for me. I had heard too much about it, but someone said it's a really, really good book, so I did go ahead and get this one. An unforgettable and Hollywood-bound new thriller, a mix of Hitchcockian suspense, Agatha Christie plotting, and Greek tragedy by Entertainment Weekly. So, yeah. Now, this one is a new book. I found out about this author because the author, Stacey Willingham, came down and she did like a, when her new book came out earlier this year, she did like a book signing type thing. And then this author, Tarryn Fisher, Stacey Willingham and her were doing like some type of collab event. I didn't go to the event, but that's where I heard about this author, just through the emails from the different local bookstores I go to. And she had this book called Good Half Gone. So I was like, okay, I'm going to grab this one. It sounds really good. Irish Walsh saw her twin sister Piper get kidnapped, so why does no one believe her? So I was like, okay, let me grab this and I'll read it, because I actually do like Stacey Willingham's books. The first two were a lot better to me than the third, but I said I was going to give Tarryn a try. And I actually have 2 other books by her, because I was reading those, I was like, dang, those sound good. Alright, so the next one we have is A Killer in the Family by Gytha Lodge. And this book is about a lady who was basically trying to find her daddy. And she got like her DNA matched with like a serial killer. So I was like, definitely gonna get it. From the acclaimed author of Little Sisters, this endlessly twisty crime novel asks, what might a family do to protect or expose a serial killer in its midst? So I was like, that's why you can't be taking these tests. You find out you're related to all kinds of people and you don't like the results, so what you gonna do? Because now you know. Alright, this one, I'm not gonna lie, I probably bought this because of the texture of the book. The Last House Guest by Megan Miranda. I keep feeling like, I don't know if it's like I've just looked at a lot of books by this author, but I felt like I had more, and I think this is the only one I got. But anyway, it's called The Last House Guest. This one is about what's this one about? Because I kind of forgot. Oh, so this girl Avery lives like in a beach town, and she makes friends with this girl named Sadie, who has all this, like, she has money and stuff like that. She's here living in the big cottages that Avery just looks at, you know, when people come during the summer, but Sadie dies. And she gets killed. They say it's suicide, but then other people are saying it's probably her. So she's trying to figure out what the heck went on and why Sadie did. So that's what it's about. Alright, we're gonna pause there because everything I have is brand new. So these are the books that I have in my backlog that I have already like talked to y'all about. They're not new. Well, unless you're new here. So far we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gotta put them down. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. 12, 13, 14, 15. We got 16 books already. So I had 16 books that I've already told you guys about, plus these 5. So 16 plus 5 was that. That's 21. We are doing math. Now I said that I only do horrors, thrillers, and mysteries. But my other weakness is Disney. If you know, you know. I'm a Disney adult. And I actually have 5 plus 1 because the new one dropped, and we'll talk about that in a minute. 5 books from the Twisted Tale collection that I didn't get finished reading. Last Booktober, I did like me reading all the books in the series. I got through, I think, like 9 of them, but I have 5 left that I still haven't read. I guess technically I'm reading out of order, but I gotta be in the mood to go through these. Like, I want to do them all together. So, little palette cleanser month maybe coming up soon. We'll see. But the first one here I have is When You Wish Upon a Star, A Twisted Tale by Elizabeth Lim. What If the Blue Fairy Wasn't Supposed to Help Pinocchio? Love it. These are really awesome. It's just basically retellings of the Disney stories. Some of them I absolutely love. Like, they do a great job. Some of them are just okay. But, you know, we always stay in Disney here. So that's the first one. And this is, of course, the story of Pinocchio. The next one we have, which I really wanted to get to last October, and I didn't. So I can't wait to start reading this again. But actually, and I'm reading these out of order. So let me rewind that so you guys can see the series in the order that I have. So on Birthday would actually be next, and it's What If Wonderland Was in Peril and Alice Was Very, Very Late. This is A Twisted Tale by Liz Braswell. I will say Liz Braswell is one of my favorite writers, and I also really like Farrah Rashan. I like her books, and those are my 2 favorite. Those are my top 2. They do really well. But this is the story of Alice in the Wonderland. The next one is Go the Distance, What If Meg Had to Become a Greek God. This is by Jen Kalonita, and this is the story of Hercules. Next we have What Once Was Mine, A Twisted Tale by Liz Braswell. What if Rapunzel's mother drank a potion from the wrong flower? So that's the tale of Rapunzel, Tangled vibes. And then we have what I was getting to, Almost there, my fair Rashawn. Oh, y'all, a Princess in the Fog. Y'all know we getting excited because June 28th, what happens? Tiana's Bayou drops at Disney World. Very excited for that. I was there in December, so I got to see, like, the construction, and they got, like, a little eatery next to it, too, representing the whole Bayou Tiana Princess in the Frog theme. So very excited. But what if Tiana made a deal that changed everything? Sound like she gonna be messing with the Shadow Man. And then of course I already told y'all about Pinocchio's tail. So we have those that will give us a little brain break from all the horror that we deal with. So those are the ones I previously had. Now we're gonna get into the newer ones. These are the ones. This is the haul. This is the new stuff. So everyone in my family has killed someone by Benjamin Stevenson. Now, I read his second book that basically is the sequel to this one. It's Everyone on This Train is a Murder Suspect or something. And I actually really, really enjoyed it. Like, that one surprised the heck out of me. I enjoyed it. And at first I was like, dang, I'm not going to want to read the first one because they kind of dropped little clues in it. So the sequel, it literally talks about, and I love this in books because the Indian Lake trilogy does this, but it basically talks about how if you were watching like Scream and they talk about what it takes to make a horror movie, it's like what it takes to write a horror movie or like a mystery or a thriller book. And at first I was like, oh, I'm not gonna want to read the second one because they're dropping stuff in or the first one because they're dropping stuff in the second one. And it's so funny, I'm reading the second one and he's like, my publicist told me, or my agent told me, that I have to give them just a little bit, not enough to spoil it for them, but to make them want to go back and read the first one. And girl, I want to go back and read the first one, so I got it. Everyone in my family has killed someone. Some of us, the high achievers, have killed more than once. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it is the truth. Y'all, I'm excited. It says an ingenious and hilarious meta murder mystery, Sunday Times, London. So very excited to read that one. The next one is called Bye Baby by Carola Lovering. Lovering. And this one, this one is about, I can't even completely remember. Let's see. Oh yeah. Like, okay, so the friend like wakes up when her friend starts screaming because her child is missing, but she actually stole the child. Like, that's what this one was about. And when I was reading this, I was like, I gotta get into this. I have got to get into this. So this one is called Bye Baby. The next one is The Night in Question by Susan Fletcher. I actually got this one as an ARC because at the bookstore I go to, she was like, I think you're gonna like this. So when I got it, it wasn't released, but it got released in April. So it's been a while. It's been out for a little bit. Yeah, this one was released on April 16th. I've had this on my shelf for a little bit. But this one is about, and I love my seasoned folks, but she's an 81-year-old woman, and there's an accident at the residence home she's at, and she's literally trying to basically figure out who killed this person. So that's what this one is about. The next one is The New Couple in 5B by Lisa Unger. And this one, I have no clue what the heck this is about. Okay, so they moved into an old apartment building that's like supposedly haunting. So it says a couple inherits an apartment with a spine-tingling past and this haunting and propulsive thriller. So this one has a little bit of haunt to it, and that's what this one is about. So the next one, 48 Clues into the Disappearance of My Sister by Joyce Carol Dates. I'm very excited to read this one because every single chapter and like the words and the pages on the words and the pages seem super easy to just basically get through. Like, I mean, the words don't even take up the whole page, but every single chapter is a clue to the disappearance of the sister. I'm just like, I'm all over this. Like, I was like, I have to get this one. Exquisite, this elegant, captivating tale is unputdownable. Another masterpiece of storytelling, a thematically and stylistically ambitious novel that displays the author's literary gift to their maximum effect. The first one was by Publishers Weekly Starred Review. The second by Booklist, a starred review. Basically, she is trying to solve the mystery, like I said, of her missing sister. And I was like, okay, this sounds real good. I gotta get this one. So that's that. Now, next we're going to jump into 2 Tarryn Fisher books. I went down a rabbit hole because I was at the bookstore. I was looking at the shelf, and I kept reading the back of her books, and I was like, oh, that's good. So I was like, and y'all know I have trouble finding, like, authors that have really good books that also have extra books, because you won't have those authors where you could be like, okay, if at least if I can't find nothing else to buy, I could go back and buy, like, an author I really like. And every single author I fell in love with literally was a debut author. So I'm glad that I'm getting people that have more than one book. But this one is called An Honest Lie by Tarryn Fisher. And this one says, I'm going to kill her. You better come if you want to save her. So, scary. The next one is The Wives, also by Tarryn Fisher. And this blurb, imagine that your husband has 2 other wives. That's what it's about. So basically, the lady is married. Well, multiple ladies are married to this man. But she starts meeting up with one of, like, the newer wives. And like basically he is basically beating her up or something like that, and she's like, wait a second, who is this third wife and what kind of guy is he? Like literally none of you know each other, and because of this unconventional arrangement you can see your husband only 1 day a week. If he only got, because if the third wife is a new wife and he only got 2 wives, where the hell is he the other 5 days? Because the new wife just came in. So before, where was he the other 5 days? And even with the new wife, there's still 4 more days. So y'all should at least be able to see him twice a week and him get a day off. But that ain't none of my business. But I was like, I'm interested. Now the next one is by one of my favorite authors, T. Kingfisher. This one is What Feasts at Night. And this one is the sequel to What Moves the Dead. If you saw my like favorite books that I read last year, What Moves the Dead was one of them. It's such a short, cute book. I keep saying these books are cute, but it's like horror, but it's like to me funny. This one has under 150 pages. Easy read. I think I read the first one like in a day or 2. The pages are, not the pages, but the words are kind of small, but the book itself, it's super easy because it's a small book. It's not even as big as some of these others. The next one is My Darling Dreadful Thing. This is by Johanna Van Veen. I also got this as an ARC. So shout out for that one. This one, I don't know if I'm going to be able to read. I'm not even going to lie. Because I don't mind doing books that have some kind of spirit. Because people are like, well, you read about Horace Miller and like Freddy Krueger and those are spirits and you watch that. But there's a different kind of spirit. I'm really big on like exorcisms and the what is it, the chining? Well, I'm not thinking about The Shining, but the would it be channeling the ghosts and all of that, them spirits? I'm really into that, so I don't know if I'm gonna read this one, but we'll see. If the dead can wake and walk among us, how can we know what is truly real? So this lady basically moves to this house that's like falling apart that she inherited, and now like some weird stuff has happened. Somebody gets killed, and then they're trying to figure out what happened and all of that good stuff. But this book can move. But yeah, so we'll see if I had to put it, because I don't usually stop books, but we can't have too many spirits flying around. I don't know. The next one, I've read another book by this author and I really liked it, so I bought 2 back to back. Now, one thing I am finding though, sometimes if I read a book by an author who kind of has the same style and I read it back to back, sometimes it's like harder for me to get through the book. But and it's not like that with every author that I read a book back to back. But sometimes it just gets like, oh, I know the flow, so I kind of figured that. Hopefully it's not the same for Mary Kabuka, because I read one of her other books, and I can't remember which one I read, but I know I really liked it. So She's Not Sorry is this one by Mary Kabuka. And this one is, I have no clue what it's about. An ICU nurse, oh shoot, that does not say ICU. I'm thinking NICU, but there's not even an I. I mean an N. An ICU nurse accidentally uncovers a patient's frightening past in this riveting thriller. I really don't know what this is about. Let's figure it out. Megan Michaels is trying to find balance between being a single mom to teenage daughter and working as a full-time nurse. While Megan is on duty at the hospital one day, a patient named Caitlin arrives in a coma with a traumatic brain injury after jumping from a bridge and plunging over 20 feet to train tracks below. Dang, I don't remember reading it. But when a witness comes forward with shocking details about the fall, it calls everything they know into question. Was Caitlin pushed, and if so, by whom and why? I don't even remember that. But okay, that's what this one's about. The other one by her is The Other Mrs. And this one says she tried to run, but she can't escape the other Mrs. I don't see. And the crazy thing, oh, you know why I don't remember these? Okay, so starting here, and I'll tell you when it stops. I actually ordered all of these off of Amazon. So my daughter is actually the purchaser of the books that I am reading now, starting with this one. She also bought me her. She also bought me, I think she started with this one. So for Mother's Day, my daughter was like, I'm going to take you to a bookstore. So some of these ones came from a local bookstore. And the next stack that I'm going to, -2, came from Amazon. So that's probably why I don't remember reading the back of these, because I read them on the computer. And I don't know if anybody's like that. Like which is why I don't read on like electronic devices like Kindles and stuff. Because like if I don't have the physical book, it feels like it doesn't process in my brain. And I honestly can't remember. Like I kind of knew what the other ones were about. These ones I can't even remember. So Sadie and Will Faust have only just moved their family from bustling Chicago to a small town in Maine, which I'm actually going to for my birthday. So travel vlog coming up this summer. When their neighbor Morgan Baines is found dead in her home. The murder rocks their tiny coastal island, but no one is more shaken than Sadie. As the eyes of suspicion turn toward the new family in town, Sadie is drawn into the mystery of Morgan's death. But Sadie must be careful, for the more she discovers about Ms. Baines, the more she begins to realize just how much she has to lose if the truth ever comes to light. Oh, okay. That's the one we're reading. I went down like a rabbit hole of trying to find books by authors that I'd already read. Like I literally looked at my list because I was like, I can't find any new books by people I really like because I read them all. And like, I was like, I'm not finding anything that captures me. So let me buy some by authors I did like. So that's that. Now, I was like, I got that one Freida book. I'm going to go ahead and read The Housemaid. So I have The Housemaid from Behind Closed Doors. She sees everything. This is the first one, and there's a third one coming out. So I was like, if the third one's coming out, hopefully I will like The Locked Door. I was like, okay, hopefully I'll like these ones too. So, I mean, and I was like, if I read The Locked Door and I hate it, I could just send these two back and I don't have to read them because I got them off Amazon. But everybody says good things about this series, so I hope it will be good. I think I heard that the first one is better than the second one, but we'll see. You know, sometimes the sequel doesn't do what it's supposed to do. But the next one I got is The Housemaid Secret by Freida McFadden. Also, This Perfect Home has one rule: don't look behind closed doors. And that's the second one, so excited about that. And then they're also releasing a third one, like sometime in July, I think, which is part of the reason I was like, I want to get them. One thing I have noticed, just kind of flipping to this one really quickly, the chapters are really short. And I like a good chapter short book because you can get through it really fast. First Line Wins by Ashley Elston. It's a Reese's book club. I feel like I have a couple of her books in here, but I actually heard a lot of people talking about it. But once again, the reason I know what made me get these ones. So at work, we have a literary book club at work, and this was they had just finished Housemaid, and I bought it, but because they had already started, and once again I read in order, I was like, I'm just gonna get it because they said it was really good. That's what made me go and buy The Housemaid without reading the other ones, because everyone was like, it's good, you should read it. And then this was also another one that they recommended. I had heard people talk about it, but I was a little weary of getting it, but they were talking about it in the book club, and I had asked, what book should I go out and get, and they said this one was really good. So First Light Wins by Ashley Elson. This one is basically they're all in this house, but like somebody is not who they say they are, so that's the lie. Or one of them. Evie Porter has everything a nice Southern girl could want: a doting boyfriend, a house with a white picket fence, a tight group of friends. The only catch: Evie Porter doesn't exist. So she already lying from the jump. So there we go. The next one is Don't Let Her Stay by Nicholas Sanders. This one I came up upon because I had looked up First Light Wins, and you know how they give you like suggestions? This was one of the suggested books, Don't Let Her Stay by Nicholas Sanders. And this one is actually about the, like, she married this guy, but like the stepdaughter kind of sketchy. Someone inside their house wants you dead, but no one believes you. Joanne knows how lucky she is. Richard is a wonderful husband. Evie is the most gorgeous baby girl. They live in a beautiful house. Life couldn't be better until Richard's 20-year-old daughter, Chloe, gets in touch. So basically, she comes stay with them, and, things start going a little crazy. So that is what this one is about. And now the last two, my daughter did buy me, but we actually got these from Barnes & Noble. So like I said, I hadn't been in Barnes & Noble for a while until she was like, we went to 2 local bookstores. I didn't have much luck finding too much. I found a few, but she was like, you have this amount to spend. And I still had tons left, even after Amazon. So we went over to, she was like, well, I was thinking we could go to Barnes & Noble, because she was like, why are these books so expensive? And I was like, they'd be a little bit more expensive at independent stores. But we went over to Barnes & Noble and I grabbed 2. One is called Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. And I feel like I've heard of this author before. This was recommended by one of the people there. This is actually a debut. I can't remember what it's about, but I feel like I had read something. No, Gone Girl. So this must be like her. Okay, I know that's why the name sounds familiar. She wrote Gone Girl, but this must have been her first book, because it says, to say this is a terrific debut novel is really too mild. I found myself dreading the last 30 pages or so, but was helpless to stop turning them. Then after the lights were out, the story just stayed there in my head, coiled and hissing, an admirably nasty piece of work elevated by sharp writing and sharper insights. And that's by Stephen King. So that's another reason I was like, oh, I gotta get this. So I think this might be this lady's debut novel, and it's another small one. It's a little over 200 pages. Now the last one from what my daughter bought me is the newest Disney Twisted Tale. I can't remember exactly when it came out, but this one is Fate Be Changed. It's by Farrah Rashan. I'm really excited because, like I said, I like the way she tells her stories. And this is What If the Witch Gave Merida a Different Spell? And I think this is so cool. At first I was like, dang, I didn't even think about the fact that this cover was different, because of course I have the series, but the first 2 in the series are in paperback. I couldn't get the rest of them in paperback, but I was at least able to get like the same style of cover. This one is the same style. It's just like a more metallic, shiny look. So that is that one. Now, what did I pick up today, y'all? We almost done. I know it's a lot. So I got 4. Let me go ahead and get them out. These are the ones 2 were recommended, and I think one of them I picked up on my own. So here we go with the first one. It is called The Last Murder at the End of the World, and this is by Stuart Turton. I loved his book, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I always have to read that because that trips me up. I like that book. I had actually seen this one, I think, a couple times and didn't get it. But when she recommended today, I was like, I did like his other books, so I should go ahead and pick this one up. This one is about, they live basically on this island that has high security. And I think there's low crime or something like that. And then something happens and somebody on the island gets murdered, but they forget what was they forget what happened the day before. I don't know if just the day before, I can't remember, or multiple days ahead, but basically they don't know that there's a murder on the island, and then they have a certain amount of time to figure it out, or basically this fog that came along the first time that allowed the murder to happen would overtake the whole island or something like that. like, okay, I'm going to get into it. So that's the first one. The next one I got that she recommended. Did she recommend this one? No, I don't think she recommended this one. No, she did. I think she did. So this one's The Quiet Tenant. She said she listened to it and she really liked it. She was like, oh, dang, I didn't even know we had this in paperback or in the physical book. And she said it was really good. It's by Clemence Michelin. And this one she said it's dark. And it's from the perspective of the serial killer and the victim. So I was like, I'm going to get into that. So this one, the words are kind of small, but it's like a little over 300 pages, so not that long. The next one she recommended was Beware the Woman, and this is by Megan Abbott. I feel like I've seen other books by her, but I think I might be getting it mixed up with somebody else who has Abbott in their name. This one is about a lady who is married. She goes off to visit the dad of her husband, and she's pregnant, and then she has a little health scare, and all this is on the back, and basically they start to pretty much get overbearing with her, and then there's some whispering about what happened to the boy's mama because she dead, and then creepiness happened inside. So this is what this one is about. So we're gonna try that one out, and this one I picked myself. It's called The Chateau by Jacqueline Goldis. And this one is about a lady who lives in France. She invites some friends over, her granddaughter, and some of these friends, her friends, basically 20 years earlier, they visited when they studied abroad and all that kind of stuff. But now the lady dies. She gets murdered. So all this is on the back of the book, and they're trying to figure out basically who did it. And somebody is posting now on Instagram things that happened during the weekend, and they're like, we're going to expose more. So that's what it is. You are cordially invited to the chateau. So that's what this one is about. Y'all, how many books do we have? So we were already at 21. Let's see, 21, 22, 23. Oh, wait, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. We have 42 books in the backlog, and I am currently reading 2, which is another thing that I don't do. I typically don't read 2 books at a time. But like I said, I was switching it up. We got 42 books in the backlog. Oh my gosh, who am I? I really need to pick it up. The last 2 months, I haven't read a lot, but I read. And that's all that's important, and that's all important. That's all that's important for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Do y'all have any of these books in your backlog? Have you read any of these books? What are you thinking? How many books do y'all have in your backlogs? Because I've seen people with hundreds of books. I only got 42. I ain't even crossed that 50 mark yet. And, I'm chipping away at them. But, how many books do you guys have? I feel like this is about, regardless of whether they're on my backlog or if I've read them, I got limited space, so I'm going to be buying a new bookshelf soon. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I'd love to hear what you guys are reading or what piques your interest. What books are you waiting to come out? Tell me about it. Let's talk. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name is Sara. If you're new here, thank you for coming by. If you're returning, thank you so much for keep coming back. Make sure you do all the things to get all the notifications about new videos. Join the family. It's cool over here. We low key. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.